right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first ever TNA pay-per-view rewind episode. I'm going to start trying to do these kinds of videos every once in a while, probably at least once a week. Take some time, watch a pay-per-view from a TNA show that happened, since TNA lately has not been all that interesting. They have not done anything entertaining whatsoever. Um, Eli Drake's a great just to start off saying Eli Drake is an excellent performer and a great champion they chose, because I really wanted to see him as champ in TNA, or GFW, I should say, um, as Global Impact champion. But at the end of the day, uh, this show, the company itself, has been a complete load of garbage. I did get the Global Wrestling Network. Um, Mainly because of the fact that I am a huge wrestling fan, and I wanted to be able to view something other than WWE product stuff. So I decided, hey, they got TNA's old stuff that was good back in the day before they turned into garbage. So why not review some of that stuff? And I'll go ahead and do some TNA one night onlys that I never got a chance to view before. See how they were, if they turned out anything good. Well, actually, regardless whether they were good or bad, I will definitely review them for you guys for your own entertainment purposes. Uh, I will continue, though, just to give you guys a head up, the reviews on the WWE pay-per-views, giving you predictions and previews, because I have been watching Raw and SmackDown here and there, but I just don't care to review these programs anymore because they are not worth my time. NXT, I just don't get around to doing. I'm not very happy with the NXT product right now based on the champion that they chose to have. So I'm not really too satisfied with NXT either. But if I had to do a comparison between the three brands of Raw, SmackDown, and NXT wins hands down. They got a collect of different superstars that are outstanding performers. Could work on WWE's main roster, but probably would be restricted from doing certain things that they can do in NXT. So, with that all being said, let's get into the review of the very first ever TNA pay-per-view rewind episode 1. My pay-per-view I decided to choose today for you guys was TNA Victory Road 2009. Now, you might be saying, why would you choose that? That is by far the worst reviewed pay-per-view of TNA's history, especially for 2009. Well, I looked back on it, and I have to say some of it was actually a lot better than what I thought it was back in the day when I first saw this pay-per-view. When I first saw this pay-per-view, I thought it was absolute, complete garbage. But there was some matches in this card that I did enjoy, such, for example, Kurt Angle and Mick Foley. I think the championship match for the world title was actually a well put together match between these two guys with completely different wrestling styles. Kurt Angle being a wrestling machine, while Mick Foley's a hardcore daredevil. Uh, it really was very entertaining to watch that match. And anything else on the show, this was by far the best match. To be quite frank with you, another good match that was on the card was Matt Morgan and Christopher Daniels. Matt Morgan did defeat Christopher Daniels in this match. Matt Morgan was really trying hard during this storyline to get into the main event Mafia. Just to recap with you, leading up to this, Kurt Angle did win the World Championship belt against Mick Foley, who was the champion going in the King of the Mountain match, where Samoa Joe actually turned on the TNA roster and joined the Main Event Mafia. Main Event Mafia also did have Sting on there, which was very interesting, him being a heel and turning his back on the TNA company itself and being against the TNA roster. But later on, you discover it was really more about the fact that he thinks that the TNA younger superstars needed to learn respect. So that's basically it. the Main Event Mafia got turned into a complete gang instead of a group of veterans who were trying to show the old school way to the younger stars, and so on and so forth, which eventually led to Kurt Angle's or not Kurt Angle, Sting's demise out of the Main Event Mafia. Another thing that Kurt Angle brought into this whole scenario, what TNA did, is they wanted to make Kurt Angle say to his Main Event Mafia crew that if they did not walk out winners of their matches or for their titles, they would no longer be a Main Event Mafia member. So they would be disbanded from the group. So that was kind of interesting in itself to throw that in there, making it actually kind of predictable, but at the same time, it was still entertaining and it made sense. He was trying to look, he wanted the faction to be strong and want to walk away with all the titles and all the victories that they were in for matches. So I'll go ahead, kind of get into these matches one by one. There were some matches on the card that I did skip. For example, the TNA Knockouts Championship, Madison Rayne, not Madison Rayne, Angelina Love faced Tara, who was Victoria in WWE. She actually had a spider tarantula pet when she was in TNA, and she lost the TNA Knockouts Championship to Angelina Love. That match to me was crap. I give it a 1 out of 5 stars, if anything. Matt Morgan versus Christopher Daniels. I really enjoyed this match. This match to me was a 3 out of 5 stars. Matt Morgan did a very good job working with not a younger superstar, but a smaller guy that's more of a cruiserweight type wrestler, or could be placed in a heavyweight championship match if he was going up against a guy like AJ Styles or Daniel Bryan or something like that. So he did. They did a very good job here to make Matt Morgan win by having what's his face, Christopher Daniel having an injury going into the match. He sustained an injury during the match actually, and they played along with that, and it made Matt Morgan walk away with the victory. He had a knee problem going during the match when he got that. So that was kind of interesting in itself, just to throw that in there to tell a decent story, give a reason why Matt Morgan would win the match based on that alone, and giving Christopher Daniels a struggling disadvantage to get the fans to hope and pray that he would walk away victorious against Matt Morgan. Abyss versus Dr. Steven Richards. At the time of WWE, he was known as as Steven Richards. This match was a joke. I skipped through this mostly. Abyss got a taser and shocked Dr. Stevie because he was basically his doctor and trying to get him to be more normal, not as hardcore wrestling. It was a really lame storyline for this, and it was shit. That match, I give it a 2 out of 5 stars, just to be generous. All right, next match was Team 3D, Brother Ray and Brother Devon, against the British Invasion, Brutus Magnus and Doug Williams, for the IWGP Tag Team Championship. So the New Japan Wrestling tag titles were on the line during this match, or this pay-per-view. This match was average at best. I mean, it wasn't nothing bad. It was nothing great, but it was decent. I mean, I was pretty satisfied with the action, and Team 3D walks away with the victory. I don't remember it too well in my mind because I watched this event about 2 weeks ago, and I just haven't had the time to get around to doing a review for this. So that's pretty much what it was a decent match. I'm not going to get too heavily into it. Like I said, I don't remember everything, every little bit of detail off the top of my head that rings a bell to me. But it was a decent match, and Team 3D walked away with the tag team titles, as still champions. Jenna Maraska versus Charmel. Basically, some sort of bullshit within the main event Mafia. I think that was garbage. Skip that. That was a garbage match. Then we had Kevin Nash facing AJ Styles for the TNA Legends title at the time, was what it was called. By the end of the championship's existence, it turned into the TNA King of the Mountain Championship belt. It went through tons of transformations of different names, such as the TNA Legends Championship, TNA Global Championship, TNA Television title, and then finally the TNA King of the Mountain title. And nobody fucking knew what exactly they wanted to call this damn belt, but it could have been a freaking World Championship belt, a secondary title for anyone to carry it, and it could have been a main event title that could have been used during pay-per-view events at times. But of course, TNA being TNA, fucking dumb as shit. Kevin Nash and AJ Styles was a decent match. The only unfortunate thing is Kevin Nash won this match by a chokeslam. That's all we get out of this. The match itself was great. The ending was anticlimactic. There was nothing entertaining about the ending. That's what killed this match to me. 3.5 out of 5 stars. To me, because of the fact AJ Styles did carry Kevin Nash through this match. He did pretty well, though, for his age, Kevin Nash at the time. He did perform pretty damn good. So I'm not gonna bash Kevin Nash as much as I would normally do because of the fact he is an older guy at the time and he wasn't in the best shape. But for a guy in the shape he was in, he did a pretty damn good job. So I'll give him that much credit. Main event Mafia, Booker T and Scott Steiner facing Beer Money Incorporated, James Storm and Robert Roode. At the time, Robert Roode, but it's Bobby Roode, for the tag team titles. This match sucked cock. It was good, but later on it started getting progressively worse and worse and worse, and then the ending sucked, and then it just became a 2 out of 5 stars. So, to be frank with you, this match, it was shit. It was great to see Booker T and Scott Steiner being two legendary tag team partners with their brothers, but then to become tag team champions together was pretty monumental and pretty awesome. But at the same time, it was fucking horrible. There was nothing great about this match. This match sucked dick. It just really did not have what it should have had. Samoa Joe versus Sting. Good match. Enjoyed it. And Samoa Joe walked away victorious with the Takeo clutch. Excuse me, I can't fucking say the damn move. Takeo clutch. And he walks away victorious, putting Sting out of commission, basically knocked out, tapping out, done and over with. Taz was revealed as Samoa Joe's mentor, which, in a sense, you know, I guess you could say that was kind of a cool thing. You know, it would have made sense. Taz and Samoa Joe, they kind of have similar characteristics, the way they fight and the way they wrestle. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense. But at the same time, does Samoa Joe really need a mentor? I mean, come on. Samoa Joe was already a TNA World Champion at this point before Taz came into the picture. So that doesn't make any sense. And the ironic thing is, Samoa Joe faced Sting as his last opponent to defend the title at Bound for Glory in 2008, which, by the way, I may review that for you guys later on next week. I think I may do that because that was a decent show. Had 4 really good matches. The rest of the show, you can take it or leave it. But this match was very entertaining. I enjoyed watching it, so I give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Now we get to the main event, Kurt Angle and Mick Foley. This match was fucking unbelievable. I actually enjoyed this one out of everything. As I mentioned already before in the beginning of this review, Kurt Angle and Mick Foley made this pay-per-view worth watching at the end of the day. It did have its ups, it did have its downs, and it did have some pretty bad moments. will agree to that. But this main event match, I did enjoy with Kurt Angle and Mick Foley. If you haven't seen it, go back and see it because I truly think you'll find value out of this match. Personally, watching Kurt Angle wrestle anybody at this point is fucking entertaining as hell because he's one of the greatest wrestlers that ever lived in professional wrestling. There ain't nobody that can out-wrestle him. Maybe, possibly, Brock Lesnar if he did more moves and had more moves in his moveset. Other than that, there ain't a fucking person on the planet that can out-wrestle Kurt Angle in professional or amateur wrestling. He is one of the greatest wrestlers around today. So, honestly, you can't say anything more about this match than it was a good match. It was really good. 4 out of 5 stars. Very decent. I enjoyed this match out of anything else, and it was pretty damn awesome. Mick Foley put up a good fight, but did not walk away as the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, unfortunately. And he was given a pretty horrible title reign against Sting to begin. After he beat Sting, he just was doing nothing at that point, and it just sucked. I really thought it was horrible what they did to Mick Foley, but hey, that's TNA for you. Anyway, at this time, if you guys liked the video, hit the thumbs up button. Leave your comments and opinions down below if you'd like to. I'd definitely get back to you on that. And on top of that, guys, hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. All right, thank you guys very much for watching. Have a great night.